The Falchion case is pronounced much like the knife it's named after. This case was introduced into CSGO in late May 2015 as part of Operation Bloodhound, and along with 3 new collections: Chop Shop, The Rising Sun, and Gods and Monsters. Aside from the Spectrum case, this case is the only one that can drop Falchion knives. It was also the fastest knife to equip until recently, when Valve spotted the mistake and made all knives equal again. The Nova Ranger by Poignant Envy is part of the Camouflage series, inspired by military colours but with a subtle modern twist. It was just the second skin of his to be submitted to the workshop, following the AWP Pavo design. Pavo. Since then, he has also made the SSG08 and XM1014 Ranger design, and has had 4 other skins also accepted, one of which is covered later on in this video. The UMP45 Riot by Mind follows similar design principles to his Elite Build series, but since that is reserved for popular guns, he created the Riot series for the others. You can still see the similarities in the logos and drawn-on features, which were one of the major selling points with the Elite Build. He heard that camouflage wasn't too popular and was too simple, so this is his attempt at making it popular again. He has 2 other weapons for the skin, and now that the UMP has found success, he's considering redoing the others to have the same colour scheme to make them more of a matching set. With wear, the text on this design fades convincingly, which looks pretty cool. And here's Mind's P90 Elite Build, which was made after the AK and AWP of the same design. Much like the Riot I just covered, it features many drawn-on custom designs, as well as many references to a fictional Mastery series that was the original name for this series of skins. He was somewhat surprised when Valve decided to make this a blue series, as he always made them with the intention of them being red or pink. He wonders how differently the skins would have been received had they been put in a higher class. The Galil Rocket Pop by Noelioio uses the custom paint job finish to achieve a vivid, colourful sandblasted finish. It's one of 7 weapons in the collection, though so far is the only one accepted into the game, though she has had further success with the Negev power-loaded design in the revolver case. The Glock Bunsen burner by PTP. This skin worked out okay for him, without any real problems. I'll read the description for you. Burn your opponents with this hot rod Glock and then cruise down to the local burger joint to sip on a victory soda while talking to other hot rod owners about how you pulled off the sickest ace in the last round of that match. Hot rod owners are polite, so they will probably just nod in agreement while having no idea what you were talking about. This striking 3-colour design by Raken the Rock is known as the USP-S Torque, though it's known as the Progressive on the workshop and also has its AUG skin accepted into the Huntsman case. Since the Falchion case was released as part of Operation Bloodhound, this design has an operation-themed description that reads, "They're manipulating you, Kotaro. And if you can't see that, you're in more trouble than you know." Felix Riley, Commanding Officer. The Famas Neural Net by Slimeface was made in the early hours of the morning. He was trying to make a decent randomising pattern, and after many failed attempts, he achieved this, then went to bed. He hadn't had success with the workshop for a while at this point, and was looking back at older stuff again, so the Neural Net represents Slimeface returning to his roots. It's part of the Dot series, which prides itself in being unique with every skin. The MP9 Ruby Poison Dart by Derp goes full circle with the name. He was inspired by a picture of a frog with beautiful skin patterns. He couldn't remember the name of it, so named the design Nitrogen because it looked like a chemical reaction or something. He's happy that whoever selected the skin at Valve knew more about frogs than he did and named it Poison Dart. Derp didn't know that that was a name of a frog, so was confused until he googled it, at which point he was happy again, as he says he's never been able to think up good names himself. The P2000 Handgun by Next Gen Zzz is a hand-drawn design using the shiny metallic patina finish style, which I think is a nice combination. It was submitted to the workshop way back in 2014. He originally named it Boom, but people pointed out that there was already a weapon called that, so he changed the name to something more original. The Negev Loudmouth by Ego Death shares many similarities with the Galil Chatterbox. It's not available in factory new, as he considers the wear and tear to be important to the design. There are a couple of cool little Easter eggs too. You'll find a smiley face on the lid that's visible during reloading, and the word RUN is written on the ammo box, which you can see during the game item showcase thingy. The Chatterbox started life as a baby before changing into a skull. I'm not sure what the story is behind the Loudmouth, but I like to think that it's something similar. The M4A4 Evil Daimyo by the Honey Badger. What I like about the Honey Badger is that he writes tons about each of his designs on the workshop page. I can't cover it all here, but it's definitely worth a look if you want to know more about his designs. He got into them once again by Coridium and his guides, which made the Honey Badger finally take the plunge and jump from making stickers to weapon skins themselves. With this one he stuck to simple polygonal art and borrowed the colour scheme from a Japanese imported car, though the design that was accepted was ultimately a more muted design. The others are still available in the workshop if you're interested. He wanted to avoid nationalistic or religious graphics that are technically forbidden from the Steam Workshop, so instead chose Daimyo, as he was a fan of the game Shogun Total War. The symbol is a combination of a triangular shield with cross katanas, though he thinks it also looks like a Space Invader, which is a nice link to video games. His favourite part of this weapon is the logo on the magazine, which only reveals itself during the reload animation. The CZ75 yellow jacket by Das was inspired by Caridium's Asimov and its simple design. Perhaps the biggest surprise for me was that it wasn't intended to look like a wasp. Das simply liked the yellow and black colour scheme, making the lines smoothly fit over the shape of the weapons. He originally called it the Chastiser, but thinks that the devs renamed it as something more suitable. Puffin is back again with his MP7 Nemesis design, another beautiful hand-drawn skin, using the custom paint job finish and once again with the black and yellow colour scheme. This is his and Andrew's first hand-painted skin for the MP7, but is in Mark II of its design. I couldn't find the first version, but this one has been revised to have a more unique colour scheme. The SG553 Cyrex by NextGen Z is one of 4 accepted skins from the Cyrex collection, with the others being the Scar 20, M4A1S and USP-S. In the right lighting, you can see that the scope for this weapon is slightly greener in colour than the rest of the model. I love the renders that he has over on the workshop for this weapon, which really make it look a lot more sleek and reflective than how it looks in game. Perhaps this is what he was aiming for, if it weren't for the limitations with the current finishes. Remember that this skin was made back in 2014 when the finishes were more limited. Perhaps it will look like this for Source 2. The AK-47 Aquamarine Revenge by Poignant Envy is a hand-drawn design using the custom paint job, much like the Cyrex skin I just covered. He's happy with the colour scheme chosen for this design. It's part of not just one, but 2 collections. The Summons collection, which will include an incredible hand-drawn beast of some sort in the design, and the Sea, Sky, Land collection. What this means is that if you like this design, then there are other similar ones to view and to vote for. The AWP Fleet Flock has also made it into the game thus far. And finally, the AWP Hyper Beast by Renegade, with the artwork being done by Brock. This AWP design is actually quite special. It was intended to be a universal design that could be applied to all kinds of weapon types, but was instead only used for the AWP and P90, with the design being remade to fit other weapons like the M4 and Nova. What you're seeing here is the original Hyper Beast design, which has now had a lot of success far beyond CSGO, ranging from mousepads to hoodies.